Good morning, and welcome to the Brenda Perryman Show right here on TV 33, WHPR, Comcast 90. I think that's it in Detroit and all over the world, courtesy of the World Wide Web. We have a great 2 shows for you this morning, and my first show, I'm supposed to have Mr. Bill Moss Jr., who has not quite arrived yet. He's a great gospel artist, but we'll be waiting for him. And first and foremost, my other guest, and I know you'll be so interested in this because it's so much. He's not only an advocate for veterans and dealing with suicide, because there's a high suicide rate among veterans, but also he does handwriting analysis, and also he's a herbalist. He does so many things, and I can't wait for you to meet him. This is Mr. Robert Haskins. Good morning.
Good morning.
And how are you?
All things considered, my favorite trite saying, I'm doing fantastic.
All things considered, right. All things considered, everybody. But Mr. Haskins, now you're not originally from Detroit, right?
No, I'm originally from Sandusky, Ohio.
And all of us only know Sandusky because of Cedar Point.
Exactly.
Yeah, because of Cedar Point. And you came here to Michigan when?
Oh, and 1963.
Oh, all right. So you're almost a native Michigander.
Yes.
You've been here quite a long time.
Yes,
Quite
I
a
have
long time. So, Mr. Haskins, you do so many things, but first and foremost, I want to talk about veterans. And I want to talk about the suicide rate among veterans. Can you talk to us about veterans and suicide and why?
Well, to begin with, I've been concerned in that I was aware of a tool to find out early detection of bullies, ADHD, and PTSD. And I'm
Why don't you tell the audience what ADHD is in case they don't know?
ADHD is attention deficit hyperactive disorder.
Right.
And PTS, you probably have heard of that in terms of veterans having that. And it's causing them to commit suicide and have very disruptive lives. And we're still losing about 57 veterans per day from suicide. And I said to myself, we've got to do something. And I do a modality called handwriting analysis that's unbiased. Nobody can trick us up. Everybody writes different. And I can do with God's blessings, and that I'm still the co-pilot, I can do with God's blessings early detection of ADHD and PTSD. And we have an herbal program for veterans. And it just hurts me to my heart that a lot of the veterans don't know about our herbal program. Quite a few of them go and get treatment, and there's about 180 different drugs that they can take. But that still doesn't bring them back, and they're still dying, as I said, 57 per day. So with the herbs and with the handwriting, we can do an unbiased look at everyone and find out what we can do. Within 24 hours, it takes me 7 hours to do an assessment of a veteran. and find out what herbs they need for their heart, the kidneys, the lungs, the colon, the pancreas, the digestive system. And mainly, when you have ADHD or PTSD, we're talking also about viroids, viruses, and infections, and coupled with metal and chemical poisons because of Agent Orange. And we're talking about regular effects with the hearts, the kidneys, the lungs, the pancreas. So we can take and do an unbiased scan of the veterans and start working with the stress and stress depression and do early detection of the ADHD and PTSD.
Okay, I have a question. You continue to mention Agent Orange because you mentioned that to me. Now, would be for the older veterans who were maybe veterans of Vietnam or, yeah, because we don't hear a lot about it now.
Yes, you don't. I mean, you're right, you don't. The veterans from Vietnam are still having trouble with it. And I feel as though there's other veterans that are involved with it, but they don't say anything about it because they don't know that there's help.
Well, you mentioned the herbs, and or the herbal supplements or
Herbal treatment, yes.
treatment, and these were for the pancreas, different parts of you. But what about the psychological piece that people who can be healthy as I don't know what, they still end up committing suicide? What do we do about that?
Okay, this is where our handwriting and analysis comes in. And that handwriting is brain writing. When you write, your signature is an expression of your conscious mind. Anything other than your signature is expression of your subconscious. We call it graphotherapy. And graphotherapy coincides with psychotherapy, invented in the 1890s by Freud and Jung. They advocated that learned experiences from the inner mind, which is also the subconscious mind, helps to shape childhood experiences and responsible for who we are. When you're dealing with stress and stress depression, I can take, with God's blessings, and detect your stress and anxiousness within 24 hours if in fact you have ADHD. Now, a lot of people don't realize it, but you get ADHD before you get PTSD.
Okay, all right, talk about that.
So it's important when we set you down, first of all, how you're thinking and feeling with the stress and how you're dealing with it. And then once we find out if in fact you have ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactive disorder, then there's some herbs that will counteract this. We're talking about a treatment that lasts from 5, no longer than 10 weeks. And we have a method of not only detecting it, but monitoring the herbal intake.
So, how long does it go on? Or can you give me a study or somebody who has had that treatment, who had ADHD, and what happened?
Yes. Once you take the herbal treatment, it brings back your balance in your body and your thinking, okay, how you deal with yourself, how you deal with people, manic depressive states, extrovert, introvert, imagination, and your trustworthiness, your self-blame, and rationalizing too quickly and coming to decisions and conclusions that are inadequate and incorrect, a form of self-deceptiveness and secretivity. Handwriting allows you to open up, and we look at all of the deficiencies in ADHD and PTSD that we all have, such as, say for instance, pre-suicidal tendencies can be detected something like 3 months before you commit suicide. So people are saying, wow.
Wow, yeah, I'm saying wow.
And I know this, but I've had experiences over the years in that 2018, made my 40th year of dealing with this situations. Okay, and we can take and break it down such that once we find out that you have suicidal tendencies and you don't have the ability to maintain mental discipline and keep things down to earth, and we start giving you the herbal treatment, then you can get better and better. We also have
Can you give me a case in point?
Yes, I can give you several cases in point in terms of people that have went through our program. Okay, and
Can you think of one that you can just, no names or anything, just tell me how that person changed or?
well, first of all, you relaxed with yourself. You didn't get stressed out. Sometimes your argumentative nature, okay, feeling as though you're right all the time, okay, and that other people are wrong, not being compassionate. And when you see in a person's personality that they have been a beautiful person, and that once you give them the herbs and they take the herbs and 2 weeks later, you see that they're not argumentative anymore, okay? Or you see that they're better with themselves. Some people are so self-blaming. They say, darn me, I'm no good. I just can't do anything right. And I say, shut up, shut up, shut up. You're God's child. And you're my friend. And nobody talks to my friends like that. So it allows you to relax
And exhale?
and exhale, okay? And really get into yourself for yourself.
Well, everybody, prior to the show, he asked me to write down something. I had to copy something off this page right here. And he did an analysis. Well, what I had to write was, handwriting tells 2,458 details. The sly, quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog yesterday.
The typing exercise that we used to do.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh, yes, we definitely do, because it has all the letters of the alphabet in it.
Okay.
And I rewrote that. And why don't you read it? I'm going to allow him to read it to you based on the analysis he got from my handwriting. That isn't as nice as it used to be, but it's me.
Okay, your emotional disposition is such that you're ruled by the head and by the heart. And you're the type of person that would make a good teacher or instructor. You also show signs of being imaginative, the type of person that can bring your dreams into the reality. Your imagination is also infectious, and I say it that way in that.
Wait, I'm going to stop him right there. He did not know about my imagination. I do have a vast imagination, but he didn't know that about me. But anyway, go on.
Your imagination is infectious in that when people get on your bandwagon and they follow you, they can rest assured that success will be a reality that should definitely lead them to victory. You're also a no-nonsense person. You've come up as Brenda the individual rather than as Brenda Perryman, okay? And this is important and interesting in that you decide your own fate. You're also analytical, the type that unpretentiously you don't accept anything on hearsay. And you compare everything that you read about, you listen to, you experience with your present knowledge and beliefs such that you can be assured of knowing what you're doing and accomplishing a task with gusto, dynamism, love, and understanding. You're also analytical, the type that unpretentiously you don't accept anything on hearsay. And you compare everything that you read about, you listen to, you experience with your present knowledge and beliefs. And you are the type of person that would make a good technical report writing person, an advertising person. And there's times when you are ruled by the head where you are matter of fact with people, in that you have insight and intuition, psychic abilities, and deja vu experiences. And when you're a matter of fact with people, you treat people according to their mentality, give them credence for where they're coming from. If you can't help them, you won't. If you can't help them, you darn sure won't hurt them. This highlights your spirituality in that you're a very spiritual person and benevolent person, and you're compassionate, and you've been dealing with people from this aspect for quite some while. And also at the present time, you're dealing with what we call a narrow thinking. And narrow thinking is not narrow-mindedness, but you're not looking at all of your knowledge as meticulously as you can. And I compare Brenda with a Rolls Royce, opposed to being a Rolls Royce and dealing with herself like a Cadillac, in that she needs a tune-up, not an overhaul, but she needs to open up and see all the knowledge. And it's like she's wearing designer sunglasses, and you know, when you wear the sunglasses inside, you can't see. But as I said to her, take off the sunglasses and look at all the knowledge that you've acquired. In that, God didn't make any junk. Nobody can tell you what to do but yourself. In our subconscious mind, all of the good and beautiful things that we are, God has given us. And you know God didn't make any junk. And so as she opens up and digresses for a minute and looks back at what she's accomplished, even today, she can give herself credit. And it's okay to say, you go, girl, you've done a fantastic job, and take note of it.
Wow. I mean, you don't see the PTSD in this, you know. One thing I can say, you know, I stay inside my head a lot. I do. I stay in my head and my heart. Sometimes you were dead on about that, and some other things that you said. Now, how could any of my viewers receive that handwriting analysis?
Well, we could do a handwriting analysis for anyone who wants to find out more about themselves. We advocate that an unexamined life is not worth living. Know thyself. We also advocate being quick to hear, slow to react, and let the situations denote your response. As you periodically get down on yourself and say, well, I should have done that. Oh, same thing again. It's okay to talk to an unbiased person.
Wow. Now, you also do stress depression assessment. Can you tell us what that is?
Well, problems, we acquire situations whereby they are stressful for us. And it
Like
goes into
family situations,
Exactly.
financial situations, and so forth.
and it makes us depressed. So we need to understand how we deal with it. Say, for instance, in your case, when I said that you're instinctual, you can listen to a person talk, and before you finish a sentence, you know what they're going to say. Enter into a conversation. Be there a few minutes, and you can take it over. You use this every single day.
Yeah, you have to.
And it makes you. So when you are stressed and depressed, it's okay to call somebody like myself, okay, and get your handwriting read and get an update.
And then you have herbs. Tell us more about these herbs.
Well, once you have stress, we have a program called Stress Depression. We find out what herbs will take and build your body back up and help you
Name
eliminate the stress.
some herbs. Name some.
I'm kind of favorite, one of my favorites is TRQH, which is an herb that relieves stress, depression, and anxiousness. And this is an herb that God blessed me with, that Pure Herbs is promoting and selling for me today. And they've been doing this for about the last, I'd say, 15, 20 years. There's all kinds of herbs for your congestion. And once we take and look at your handwriting, we can tell what herbs your body needs for your heart, your kidneys, your lungs, your colon, your pancreas, your digestive system, your lymphatic system. We can also tell what herbs your body needs for parasites, as well as viroids, viruses, and infections, as well as metal and chemical poisons. And this is one of the things that when we look at your handwriting as second opinion, the doctors are important, but when we look at your handwriting as second opinion, we can find out if there's a difficulty that has invaded your body to the tune of 40%. When you go to the doctor and he says, well, wow, you've got cancer, then he's looking at it, or she's looking at it from the tune of it infecting your body to the tune of 70 to 80%. When you sit down with us and we do what we call the herbal tracer analysis via your handwriting, we can do early detection and we can start working on it with the herbs. And now with our herbal program, we also have a monitoring system. We take and detect the severity of the conditions that you might be dealing with in terms of the heart or the pancreas. Say, for instance, a person that might have cancer. First of all, they have viroids, viruses, and infections that caused the cancer. And usually it's a parasite called threadworms that lumps together, forms a ball, forms a tumor or a cyst on your kidneys, your heart, your breast, or whatever part of the body. And as we do the assessment, we can detect it and find out. Now, as I said a few seconds ago, we can find out when it's affected the body to the tune of 40%, rather than when it's affected your body to the tune of 70 to 80%.
Well, where do you conduct these?
I have my office, okay, and all I do, once I take the handwriting sample, then it takes me about 24 hours to do the assessment. The assessment goes into 7 to 8 hours to do, and I write it all up. And then I set you down or call you on the phone and allow you to hear all of the herbs that your body needs and your assessment. If it's just stress and stress depression, then I deal with the selfishness, the insight and intuition, etc.
Wow, this is really interesting, very interesting. I'm going to read you guys a little bit of what it says here. It says stress, depression levels, ADHD, PTSD, bipolar, Lyme disease, bacterial meningitis, and HPV virus. Now, bipolar, that's really something. I mean, I don't know how herbs can help that.
Well, it does. Herbs help it because when you're dealing with stress and stress depression, okay, and it goes into ADD and then ADHD, it's comes right one behind another. And you can see this. And as soon as you see it, then this is where the herbs on different parts of your body, mentally and physically, this is where the parasites, viroids and viruses that deal with the spinal column, the spinal fluid, okay? I mean, it's so involved. And I've watched it, as I said, for the last 40 years, people getting better. And I've had...
That's important because a lot of people, especially in our community, don't go to get help. And
Exactly.
and these are natural herbs, right?
Yes.
And a lot of people rather deal with natural herbs and so forth. And he says here, if you have mood swings, feeling out of touch with the real you, stress that ends in depression, it's time to check for PTSD. And I mentioned to him that 5 years ago when we had that flood, remember everybody, we had a lot of flooding in Detroit. and the suburbs, and my basement had like 4 feet of water in it, and I mean my washer and dryer were moved on the other side, my everything. I had to replace everything in my basement. But every time after that, when it rained, man, I got nervous. I got scared. I
Yes.
said, "Oh no, I can't go through." It was such a traumatic experience, and anything so much that you've probably seen. Maybe if you heard gunshots or you knew somebody who got just caught in the crossfire. I mean, every time you hear something maybe pop, you get nervous.
Exactly.
And to show you an example of something that's crazy, it just came to my eyes. I was in New York once, and well, I've been there a number of times, but this particular time, we were standing at the light, getting ready to cross the street, and we were over near Lincoln Center, and all of a sudden, I saw this guy start running, and I held my cousin back. I said, "No, I knew it had to be something." I was ready to hit the deck, and it was just a man chasing his hat.
Okay, yeah.
And I just all of a sudden thought something had happened.
Okay. I might interject at this point. We all need a tune-up, and this is all handwriting is. And that I could have talked about your emotional repression. I could have talked about several things that you're dealing with in terms of your responses. We need some stroking. God didn't make any junk, folks.
Oh, I know.
Nobody can tell you what to do but yourself. So when we highlight different aspects of your being, you might notice that I didn't get into anything personable because it's not necessary. First of all, we need to hear how good God made us, and then that He is behind it in giving us the spirituality, the benevolency, and relaxing with what is happening. So you start feeling better about your chest. Your chest comes up and you say, "Wow, holy cow, I am somebody." And righteously
Right,
so,
right.
you are somebody.
Right. Well, I believe in therapy. I believe in all of that. And the things that I talk about, basically, I've gotten through them. One way or the other, we gotten through them. And one thing that's been good for me is the fact that I do have a 99-year-old mother who still is very lucid. She'll be 100 in a few months, and she talks to me. We talk, and she knows me better than I know myself. That's a blessing. That is a blessing.
That's a blessing.
So I would advise people who really are curious about this to call Mr. Haskins. Call him at 248-541-4412. Now, I'm going to say that again, 248-541-4412, and his email is Edward, EDWARD, I'm sorry. Edward, why don't you say it the way it is? Edward O. Haas. I think that's your
That's
name.
Correct. Edward O. Haas.
O. Haas. EDWARDOHAS. Edward O. Haas at att.net. And talk to him, see what it is to get an analysis done, and so forth. Is there anything else you want to tell them that you do? And you have some YouTube sites up here. What are those about?
I have 10 YouTubes, and you can.
Well, okay. Would they just use your name, Robert Haskins?
BOSH Bohabim 69.
Oh, boy.
Well,
Whoa. That's kind of...
Call me and we can give you. I have 10 videos, and on LinkedIn I have 29 articles. Okay.
Now, LinkedIn, what name is on LinkedIn?
Robert E. Haskins.
Robert E. Haskins. So that's Robert Edward Haskins.
Yes.
Right. That's where, okay, once again, that phone number is 248-541-4412. And he does analysis, assessments, counseling, and treatment. So that's quite a lot. And I really appreciate you coming on the show, Mr. Haskins. And
I appreciate being here.
oh, yes. And once again, I want to give that number because you don't have to tell anybody. I know if I were calling somebody, I'd say, let me see what my handwriting is saying about me. And once again, that's 248-541-4412. So give them a call.
Okay. Could I say one more thing?
Of course.
In our subconscious mind is all the character and personality traits that God wanted us to have. As we consciously open up to ourselves, and this is what one of the most important things your handwriting does. It reveals to you what you're doing right now, what you've been doing for the past 3 to 5 years, what you've done in your childhood that you brought into your adulthood that's affecting you. And you all know God did not make any junk.
Absolutely. You continue to say that, and I believe it. I do believe that, and we all have choices in this life.
Exactly.
We all have choices. So we'll be back very shortly, everyone. I'm still waiting for Mr. Moss, but I have something else in store in case he doesn't make it. I'll be back in just a few moments. Thank you.
You're watching Detroit's own WHPR TV. Detroit Live.
Hi, this is Brenda Perryman, and you can watch me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on the WHPR TV Now app. Download our free app at WHPR TV Now.
Fridays at 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. Eastern.
Mr. Moss has not shown up yet. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he got delayed some kind of way, but I want you to stay tuned for Table Talk, which will be in about 20 minutes. On Table Talk, we are going to be talking with Kevin Fisher, who's the executive director of the National Alliance for Mental Illness. And it's about all these, we're going to talk about these shootings and how Trump is talking about mental health and all of this. That's going to be very interesting. But first and foremost, before I go, I had an intern this summer. My intern is my grandson, and this is his last day of interning. So in lieu of Mr. Moss not being here, I'd like to introduce Arian Tanks Jr., my grandson, who's going into, well, he's in the 8th grade because school started right now. So, good morning. How are you?
Hey, Grandma.
Oh, hey, Grandma. He called me Grandma. Anyway, everybody. Arian,
Yes.
so tell me a little bit about your summer. How did you enjoy being here this summer?
It was good, good. Listen to the interviews, how you interview people. It was very nice and stuff. And basically, I just really like the opportunity just to be with you.
Oh, thank you very much. Now, you're going into 8th grade,
Yes.
which means high school is just around the corner, right?
Yep.
And you also, why don't you tell the audience about your activities that you do outside of school?
Well, I play football. I play for Detroit Panthers. I'm number 90. I play D tackle and left guard. And we have a game tomorrow at Henry Ford Field High School.
Okay, Henry Ford High School field. Now, how long have you been playing football?
This will be my 7th year.
7th?
Uh huh.
Gee. You know, ladies and gentlemen, time passes so much. Now, I've been retired 9 years, and my last play that I directed at the school was called The Day the Music Died. It was an original piece written by myself and my former student, Orna Spencer, and it was a year after Michael Jackson's death. It was 2010. And then at the end of it, I had a lot of little kids on it. And he was a little kid at that time. He was like 5 years old. And it's just amazing how time flies. That's why spending time with your family and especially with your grandchildren, if you have grandchildren, is very, very important. Now, you're an only child, correct?
Yes, I have 2 sisters, but they don't live with me.
Okay, 2 stepsisters.
Yeah.
Now tell me, do you like being an only child, or did you want other little kids around?
At the beginning, like when I was like maybe 7 or 8, I probably wanted a sister or little brother. But as I like grown, I like being alone. Sometimes I like thinking a lot. Sometimes
You like thinking a lot. What do you like thinking a lot about?
just like about like my future and what do I want to like accomplish and stuff. My like
So
just
what
to
are
think.
some of your dreams?
Well, I have like a couple. I would like to be football player, but if I don't make it, I would like to be a sports commentator.
A sports commentator.
Yes.
Because you really like sports, don't you?
Yes.
Now tell me something, because I noticed that you play on your game a lot. Are you how do these games work? You're communicating with people around the country, or what?
Around the world.
Tell us about it.
So last night I played Madden 20, the NFL game. I was playing this guy. He was from the UK. Like I heard his voice. And
He was overseas?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I heard his voice. He's from the UK.
Wow. That's something, but what kind of games are you all playing?
Well, the games I play Madden, NBA 2K, and that's about it right now. For now.
Right, right, right. Now, you've had, I know that your family has had some challenges with your dad's health, but he's looking good now, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's looking good. And Arian Tanks Jr. is the son of my oldest child, Heather, and her husband, Arian Tanks Sr. He has a nickname that he doesn't want me to call him in public, but it's such a cute name. But anyway, so what does this year, you started school already, right?
Yes, I started on Monday.
So what is in store for this year?
All I'm trying to do is just pass and go to high school. That's my accomplishment for this school year. Just pass is great.
Pass and go to, but when you say just pass, how do you want to just, you
Well,
want to just squeak?
I want to pass with A's and B's.
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
Grandma likes hearing that, So, what are some of your classes that you're taking?
Well, right now I got health. We talking about tobacco and smoking. Right
What
now,
about it?
how it could affect your heart, your brain, your lungs, like all your body parts, your gums, tongue, and everything.
What other classes do you have?
I got social studies. We talking about how America is like a whole bunch of different type of racisms and
Races?
yeah, race.
Races,
Yes,
not
yes,
racism, but races.
Yeah.
This country is diverse,
Yeah,
huh?
yes. Like to me, I use the term called melting pot.
A melting pot.
Yes.
Right, right. It is a melting pot.
Yes,
And because you have all different kind of friends, don't you?
yes. I go to an international
Louder,
school.
honey.
International school.
And so you have friends of all different
Yes.
ethnic groups. What
Yeah.
do you learn from other ethnic groups? What have you learned?
How they do in their culture. Like one of my friends, he
Louder.
one of my friends, he's from the UK. No, he's from Ukraine.
Ukraine?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And because he was adopted, and he told me that it was so busy in Ukraine and stuff, but it was like very poor.
Very poor.
Yeah.
And so he's doing better being over here.
Yes.
Uh-huh. And so another question, you went to a lot of bar mitzvahs this
Oh yeah.
year.
Oh yes. Yes.
Now, what is a bar mitzvah?
It's when a child, Jewish person turned 13, is like in their culture, it's like they like all grown up now.
Right, they're becoming a man.
Yes.
And then the woman, the girls is a bat mitzvah,
Yeah.
and that means what? She's becoming a woman,
Yeah.
a young lady.
Yeah.
She's growing up. She's leaving that age and stage.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the other things that you enjoy doing?
I enjoy watching movies with my family. I like talking sometimes with my friends.
Talking sometimes to your friends. What do you mean by that?
Like I just like if I like a topic, I would talk about it all day long.
Oh, a topic. What topics do you like?
I like talking about how I like talking about how like when well I mostly talk about sports at school, but sometimes like in class conversations I will like talk a lot and like try and get ideas. Like yesterday at school in social studies, we were talking about how America was a melting pot. I said that it was, I think it was over like 50, more over 50, like over hundreds of cultures in America.
Yes, there are.
Yeah, and I had an idea of that, and basically I just like talking about topics.
Now, what
know
other
about.
cultures would you like to know more about?
I'd like to know more about. It's a lot.
Name one. What culture? Think about somebody some culture that you don't know or haven't studied. What would you like to study?
Well, Mexican culture. I like to know Mexican culture. And that's about it. Cause I never we don't really got Mexicans in our school.
You don't have Mexicans at your school.
No.
So you want to know more about their culture. Now, what kind of TV shows do you enjoy?
Well, I like TV shows. Well, I don't really watch TV. I watch YouTube and movies. But TV shows I watch on my block is on Netflix. It's pretty good. And Fuller House, I like that. It's nice.
Oh, okay. And Fuller House. Is John Stamos on that still?
I think so. Yes.
His uncle, he plays Uncle something.
Uncle.
Maybe not. Maybe that isn't Full House. I don't
No,
know.
it's like two uncles in Full House.
Oh, there's one who's silly and one who's not.
Yeah.
Well, he's the one who's not, I guess.
Yeah.
And so, Arian, you're thinking about if if football doesn't take off for you, you would like to be a sports commentator.
Yes.
Do you know what you'd have to do to work towards that?
Yes, I'll have to work on my communication skills
Yes.
and goes like speech classes.
Yes. Grandma was a speech teacher.
Yeah, I know.
I'll help you. I'll help you. But tell us, what makes a good teacher for you, that makes you interested? Because you young people, you have so many distractions. You have a phone. You have other things like that. Who's your favorite teacher and why?
Mr. L and Miss Cancer, because Miss Cancer helped me in my math class a lot sometimes, and she helps me in my math class sometimes, and it's just really helpful for me. And Mr. L, I really like him because he's funny and he's creative with his work and
He's creative.
yeah, how he like teaches.
Now, who is your favorite artist, music artist?
Right now is Polo G, because
Who?
Polo G.
Polo G. Who's Polo G?
He's a rapper from Chicago. He's a really,
What makes him so good?
because where he came from, it just because most people didn't really have no good Chicago rappers since Chief Keef. So he's just one of the best right now to me.
So you don't like, what's the other rapper who's from Chicago? The real popular one, he does a chip commercial now. Oh, you know, he has a little mustache, kind of, what's his name? You know, from
G.
Chicago.
Do you like?
Chance the rapper.
Oh yeah, I like
Okay.
him too. I like him too.
Okay,
Yeah.
Grandma
Yeah.
thought of that. Okay, but I heard that you really like Cardi B.
Oh yeah, I really like Cardi B.
Why?
She's funny, pretty, and I like her rap music.
What do you like about her rap music?
It
I
is-
mean, I understand rap. I mean, I've been around. You saw
Yeah.
my pictures with Snoop
Yeah.
and all of that. But tell me, what do you like about Cardi B?
I like her when she raps. She like very like fun with it. I just like when she like it is fun when
You
how
just
she raps.
smiling. You think she cute too?
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. Well, anyway, as far as you went to see some good movies this summer, what did you see?
I went to see.
Did you see Shaft?
Oh yeah, Shaft. Oh yeah, that was very very funny. That was the
I missed it.
best movie I think I saw this summer.
It was? What other movies did you see?
Well, I saw Endgame, Avengers.
How was that?
It was good. You gotta watch Infinity War to know what happened.
I did see Infinity Wars,
Yeah.
but I don't know, because I want to know what happened to the guy who took all the rings.
Yeah, you need to. It's probably gonna come out on demand soon, on cable soon.
So I can watch it there.
Yeah,
'Cause I don't feel like sitting in for hours.
yeah,
Right. Well, Arian,
yes.
I want you to have a great school year
Thank you.
and do the best you can.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, we're going to have Chris on the second show on Table Talk.
Yeah.
And remember when you went to the back to school event? Why don't you tell the audience about the back to school event that you went to at Engine 40?
This is like how many years ago? Like,
Yeah, but what did you do? I remember you were
Oh,
dancing on the stage.
oh, I won a dance contest and won a bike. And, now I'm retired, so
You're retired.
yeah, I'm retired from dancing.
How do you retire from dancing and you're only 13?
Bones is old.
What, what do you mean? Well, I wish you the best, and thank you for being my intern, my production assistant this summer.
You're welcome.
It was a pleasure, and I'm going to miss you.
Miss you too.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment with Table Talk. I want to say hi to your mom and dad, by the way.
Hey, Mom. Hey, Dad.
And we'll be back in just a moment.